It's recording.
All right. Wow. That was a very, very over-the-top introduction. I'm beyond honored to be here with you all. I told Jessie, I was like, girl, are you sure you got the right person? Like, you want me to lead your team in a call? Like, you guys are, you rock. I mean, you're a premier team. It's incredible what you guys accomplished in 2016, and I'm ecstatic for what you guys are going to accomplish in 2017. It's just crazy. It's I asked Jessie, I said, what do you want me to talk about? Like, what do I have to offer your team? And so she's just asked me to talk about what I am passionate about, kind of paying forward to other coaches. And that has definitely evolved the longer I've been a coach. And I have to admit, I know is a safe place, right? So I have to admit that, like, for probably the last month, 2 months, I've been very focused on school, which Beachbody, I have Beachbody to thank for that, because it footed the bill, which is great. It's allowing me to chase down a hobby of mine that I'm working on. That's my next business adventure. I will never, ever not coach, period, ever. I mean, this is my heart and soul, and it brings me so much joy. But my style of coaching has definitely evolved the last, I would say, 6 months to a year. It's definitely changed. And it's not necessarily the way most coaches are coaching. But that is exactly what I want to talk to you guys tonight about. And I want to share a little bit about myself, but you're really not here to hear my story. I want to bring value to you guys, but just know that I have been a coach for a while. I was a full-time teacher, like Jessie said. I was a full-time elementary school teacher before I went and coached full-time, and life just kind of worked itself out in a way that when I kind of came to a breaking point with my career, and I was so frustrated with the system and with so many things in the teaching field. I had that constant ceiling above me: income, skill, creativity. There was a glass ceiling in that profession, and that was not me. I am not the kind of person that is meant to be boxed in, and it took me a while to figure out that was the problem, that I just couldn't. That was the thing I couldn't stand about my current profession. I constantly felt restrained, and like I couldn't be creative because there was no time to be, because I was testing kids, or I was teaching, curriculum that I really wasn't excited about, or I was doing all these other things in my job that I didn't sign up for. And I'm sure, I don't know, you probably have so many different professions represented here, but it's not what I signed up for, and it's not what I thought I was getting myself into. And then I felt trapped. I felt trapped for almost 6 years was that career lasted, and I lost all my joy for teaching. I found that I was barely able to teach. Just the paperwork was insane, and it's just was not conducive to my creative side, my creativity, my hard work. I worked day in and day out, and I stayed late, and I took work home, and I did all of those things that a teacher does, and my kids were performing the best in my grade and at one time in the school, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter how much work I put into my job, or how fun my lessons were, or how creative my lessons were. I was never compensated for that, and I never ever was recognized for that. And I felt guilty for saying those kinds of things for far too long. And so I was just trapped. I just was that hamster wheel type of life for a couple years. And I felt bad saying out loud my frustrations with the job because, hey, I'm a teacher. I am supposed to, this is just what you do. Like it doesn't matter that you can barely pay your bills, or it doesn't matter that you taught this amazing lesson that nobody's ever going to see or care about. That's just, you're a teacher and this is just what you do. It's a thankless job, and your paycheck is going to be your paycheck for ever. Unless you put in, 25, 30 years, you're not going to see a change in that. And that frustrated me. That is not conducive to my personality. I'm a goal-oriented person. I like to be compensated for the time and the skill that I put into something. And so I got frustrated. And it was about that time when I was kind of reaching that breaking point that I met my now husband, and we got married very quickly. It was like 3 months and we were engaged. And it just so happened that, timing was right. Timing was right to step away from that. But even before I had met him and walked away from teaching, I had found Beachbody. And I remember I am one of Lindsay Say's personally sponsored coaches, and she was living the life. Now, granted, remember, I was in that unhappy hamster wheel, thankless teacher place in my life, right? Barely making ends meet, and working my what off. So it was about that time when I met Lindsay Say, and I met her in person. I never came across her on the internet, like probably how we come across most of our coaches or most of our challengers is through Facebook and through social media. And I met her in person at a random volunteer meeting that we went to for a ministry that we were both passionate about. And I met her in person, and she was really, really cool in person. And I knew that. And she was so, I knew she was awesome long before I met her on Facebook, I guess is what I'm trying to say. She exuded just this joy and this passion for her job. I had absolutely no concept of what she did. She said, I remember verbatim her saying something about, we were all introducing ourselves in this group we were in, and she said, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I really enjoy building my Beachbody business. And 4 years ago, Jesse can tell you, like, Beachbody, no one really knew it. I didn't know what that was. And I didn't know her well enough to ask. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't know what that means, but cool. Like, good for you. Beachbody, whatever that entails. I had no concept of workouts, shakes, P90X. I had no idea that that's what it meant. But I liked her. I liked her as a person. And I'm sharing this part of my story because I think it's important for us to remember what brought us into the business. I always go back to that. What was it that attracted me to coaching? What was it that made me want more? And it really was Lindsay's life. Okay, so fast forward, that day she added me on Facebook. Right there in the meeting before we left, she said, hey, I would love to just continue getting to know you. Can I add you on Facebook? I was not a big Facebook person. I had deleted it several times in the past. Even to this day, social media can burn me out very easily, which I know that we probably all can relate to, especially being in this business. Sometimes you feel like a slave to it. But what I want to share with you guys, some ideas, what I want to share with you all tonight is hopefully some ways that you can break those chains and not feel like a slave to your business, not feel like a slave to social media, but use it to your advantage and simplify everything. Like, make it stupid simple, so that if you want to take a week vacation from your business, I'm not saying let up on the gas as far as helping your challengers, but if you want to actually have a life of freedom and say, I want to go take a vacation and I don't want to be glued to my phone the whole time, I want to give you guys some tips and ideas how to live that life of freedom, because that is why we got into this business. It's for freedom. At least that's why I got into it. Still see growth and still work your business, but not be a slave to it. So anyway, fast forward, Lindsay added me on Facebook right then and there. So my story was not that I came across my coach online. And I think that's important for us to remember too, while we're actually face-to-face with people, while we're in contact with friends and family members and neighbors and at random volunteer meetings. I mean, it can be anything. You can meet people face to face, and you can talk about Beachbody just like you do on your social media, and it's going to speak to somebody, because most people hate their jobs. They hate their jobs and they hate where they're at in life. And so that's where you have to remember, that's the place I came from. What Lindsay, my initial interaction with her was that she, whatever it was that she did, she really, really enjoyed it. And she enjoyed it so much that she had a smile on her face when she said it. And she was bold about the fact that she was building a business. I had no idea that she was the level that she is in the company. I had no idea that she had already retired Tony. I had no idea what her life looked like, but I knew she loved her job. And that spoke to me, and I was like, man, this girl seems so cool. I mean, she was dressed cool, she spoke cool, but she loved her job. So she asked right then and there, can I add you on Facebook? And that's a great idea for us to remember as coaches when we're face to face with people, because I'm all about that these days, and you're going to hear more of that in a few minutes as I share some ideas. But I'm all about the face-to-face interaction right now in my life, being present in the moment with people. And so you can build those relationships, and that's a great segue. Can I just add you on Facebook? Can I add you on, are you on Instagram? Like, just like you would do if you didn't have a Beachbody business. That's how you continue connection with people, is you ask to add them on Facebook, and you exude passion just as much as you do in person as you do online. So she had me on Facebook. I watched her for 8 months. Share her life, and it was so real and so raw and so authentic, just like Jessie shares. But it was also, she had so much joy in her work, and that really spoke to me. And it took me 8 months. A lot of lessons here in my story, because I have to remember that when I'm talking to people, I did not sign up at the first conversation. I honestly had absolutely no idea. Even after 8 months of watching her, I had no concept of what I was signing up for. I just knew that I needed to be in this girl's life in some way, shape, or form, preferably as one of her coaches that she was always spoiling and talking about and doing fun images of. And like, I just needed to be in this girl's life. Like, I wanted her to be proud of me. I wanted to do what she did. I just loved what she had to put out there. And she was always the coolest person on my newsfeed. Yes, she was present, but it was what she said that made the biggest difference. So anyway, I signed up as a coach. I had absolutely no interest in working out from home. I told Lindsay, I don't believe in home workouts, but if they come with the deal, whatever, just send them to me. They can sit in my shelf. I had zero belief in drinking your meals. Like, I did not believe in that. And so I told her, I said, I probably won't drink the shakes, but I probably won't work out from home, but I really, really, really want to be a great coach, just like you. By the way, I'm just going to pause because I just noticed that my ceiling looks so funky. And that is because that's not intentional. She was just, you're so funny. You're like, your house. Literally, that's paint. I've been painting my house for 2 weeks. I have paint in my hair. I have paint underneath my fingernails. It's disgusting. So I just feel the need to, because I just noticed that. You probably could care less. Some of you are probably like, what is with this girl's new paint job? Anyway, all right. What was I saying? Okay, so I met Lindsay. She added me on Facebook. 8 months later, I signed up to be a coach, and I still had absolutely no concept or belief in like what a coach did. So all that to say, the first year was, I was a success starter my first 3 months, and that's a miracle because I had no idea like what I didn't even believe in what I was selling yet. I was just so passionate about this coach thing that I was now involved in. And I talked about it with everybody. I didn't have any family members that signed up under me. I didn't have a supportive network of friends. I did not have a supportive family. I didn't have a spouse at the time. I didn't even have a boyfriend. So I was on my own. I was a teacher. I was a burnt out, broke, underpaid, overworked, stressed to the max teacher when I started. And I wish to God that I knew then what I know now in terms of systems and just ways of simplifying this business, because I could have really used it back then when I was trying to juggle so many things. And then I, met my husband, we were planning a wedding, then I quit teaching and went Beachbody full time. We got married in January of 2016, and I made that my last school year that I was teaching. And so that summer was my first summer as a full-time Beachbody coach. And this is a very important part of my story as a coach. My bun's fallen out. Tried the whole messy bun thing to hide the paint, and it's fallen out. Anyway, this was my whole, it's important that I share this part of my story because there's a lot of lessons I feel like in my journey as a coach. When I went full-time, I thought that like this heavens would open, I would become an elite coach like that. And because I had so much time, I had way more time than I ever had to give to my business. But what I did, and the mistake I made, was I immediately started overcomplicating everything. And I thought, well, now that I'm full-time, I have to do more of not the right things, not the basic things, not inviting, not just working out. Like, I made it way too complicated. I need to have better branding. I need to have better images. I need to have this and that. And I overcomplicated it. And then what happened is I spent all my time on the wrong things, and I got away from the basics. And so I was very, very stagnant in my business for a whole year. I saw very little, if any, growth at all. I was a diamond, like, the whole year. Absolutely no growth. I never lost rank. And I'm thankful to say I've never lost rank in this business, but I was stagnant, like absolutely no growth. I was bare minimum Success Club points. Sometimes I didn't even bother with Success Club because I'm like, I got more important things to do. I got to work on my branding. I got to work on my imaging. I got to work on my team page. I got to, you name it. I got to say nicer, prettier things, or have better posts, or I was all over the place for that year. So it's important to know that just because if you are not full-time in this business, that's a blessing in disguise, because it means that you're not going to be distracted by all the fluff, and that you have time to do the basics. And that's exactly what we should all be focused on at any point in our coaching journey. It's just the basics. And by basics, I mean the 4 vital behaviors. And if you don't feel like you have, anybody to recognize, or maybe you don't even have a team, or you don't have coaches, recognition can be fellow coaches. It can be challengers. It can be, once a week, just do a shout out. It does not matter what it looks like. It matters that you're recognizing somebody and other people are seeing that in you, because that's what attracted me to Lindsay. I loved how much she loved the people in her life and the people in the business. I had no idea what their connection was. It didn't matter to me. It didn't matter that she was shouting out coaches that had nothing to do with her team. I really, really, really wanted to be one of those people. So I wanted community, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I really, really craved community. I did not have that in my profession whatsoever. I was by myself all day with 22 kids, about to pull my hair out. Anyway, okay, all that to say. So that's kind of my coaching journey now. Still full-time, but, and I was just telling Lindsay this the other day. There's so much that changed in my approach to my business a few months back, but and that really started with Beachbody used to be my hobby, right? Like, when I was working, that was work, and Beachbody was like my escape, and that was my hobby, and that is what I came home and I loved to do. In fact, most of the time I was building my business at school, in the classroom, so not focused on my kids. That's what I love to do. That was my hobby. Now that I've been full-time for a while, I got consumed with Beachbody, in that I spent every waking moment building my Beachbody business, that I then I suddenly didn't have any hobbies at all. Like I didn't have any other hobbies. And I realized this year that that's really important for us to have in our lives. Like you need to have something else to talk about on your social media other than Beachbody. Like people need to see you involved in other things or liking other things. And, you know, interior design school, that has been a very long time coming. That is something I should have gone to school for from the get-go. And it's my passion. I love decorating. I love design. I love being home all day and painting my own house and buying pretty things. And that's just what I love. Like I've always loved that. And that's what I talk about on my page most of the time now. It used to be, especially when I went full-time, all Beachbody all the time. I hardly ever said or posted about anything else on my social media. And I think people kind of got bored of me. Like, okay, seriously, do you do anything else besides working out? Well, yeah, of course I do. I work on my Beachbody business. Like I had nothing else to talk about but Beachbody. So I really needed another hobby, and I am such an entrepreneur at heart. And so the idea to do, you know, to go back to interior design school and learn all I can with that. And that the idea behind that is to eventually still work from home while doing Beachbody and doing interior design at home. So I say all that to say you need hobbies. Get some hobbies. If you don't have a hobby, get one, because it's important, because I think a lot of people get burnt out with this business, and maybe they even leave because they don't know how to balance other things. You know, you just get consumed with Beachbody and consumed with social media, and you're on it 24/7. You feel like there's no escape. You know, we wake up with our phones, we go to bed with our phones, we're relaxing, we're supposed to be relaxing with our family and having dinner, but we're on our phones, and there's no escape from it. So for me, I needed balance in my life. Like I needed a way to shut Beachbody off, go do something else. And then when I'm done with that thing, when I've got my creative juices flowing, I go back to my business and I focus on the important things. And that keeps my priorities straight for me. That keeps my priorities straight. So time management, I know you hear that word a lot, and it's such a buzzword when you're talking about being your own boss, but it is so important. You have to stay focused on the basics and give yourself a cutoff time. For me, a power hour is truly a power hour, and I do nothing else, and then I walk away. But I am more productive in that hour than I was for a very long time, sitting all day long, just basically playing on Facebook when I first went full time, because I just thought I had all the time in the world. Like, I'll get to that later. I'll get to inviting later. I'm just gonna do fluff. I'm just going to do non-important things, and my business didn't grow. So time management is so huge. You have to know when to shut it off and when to turn it on. And you need to be willing to talk about other things on your Facebook and on your Instagram and whatever. People need to see you outside of just Beachbody Coach, because they need to be able to relate to you. And that's how you find your tribe, right? If we're all just talking about Beachbody all the time, how are you gonna attract your tribe? How are you gonna attract like-minded people? So, okay. Wow, that was way more than I intended on sharing about me. But I want to get to a couple things that, as of this year, so I told you I had that wicked stagnant year in 2016. Once the new year hit, 2017, everything changed. I truly had a New Year's resolution, and that was to go back to the basics, to post valuable content, yes, but to know when to cut my social media time on and off, and so that it was purposeful and not wasteful. I had a lot of New Year's resolutions when it came to my business, and as soon as I started going back to the basics and taking all the pressure off myself to be plugged in at all times, 24/7, I immediately went 1-star. And I can't explain to you, it wasn't any one thing. It was my ability or my decision to just let go. Like, let go, vital behaviors only, Don't care. Don't worry about anything else. Vital behaviors, vital behaviors, vital behaviors. And I immediately went 1-star. And I was hitting Success Club 10s consistently every single month, which had never happened to me before because I wasn't focused on the basics. Once 2017 hit, it was just like growth, finally growth. But in that season, I had also made a resolution to simplify my business. And what I mean by that, and this is where I have to I have to put a disclaimer out there and say that I am not speaking. Jesse may turn this call off and be like, okay, do not listen to anything that she said. This is just what worked for me. And this is just what had to happen in my life, okay? So that's my disclaimer before I share any of these systems with you. This is not something that a lot of coaches do, I don't think, at least what I've found. This is not something that your leader or other leaders may recommend, but 4 years in as a coach, I was getting very, very burnt out of challenge groups. Here's my disclaimer. Challenge groups are not, they're amazing. They are amazing. But for 3 years, every single month, I was starting a new group and I was posting the same exact content from the last month. I started a new group and I would post the same preseason posts, but with new people. And after 3 years, it got very exhausting. It's just exhausting. Okay. But I was of the mindset that challenge groups are the only way. Like this is what Beachbody coaching is. Challenge group. Okay. You have to do challenge groups. And I never allowed myself to get creative with that mindset, or maybe even a different way of helping challengers other than your typical challenge group. I do challenges still, but I freed myself up from having to do a challenge group every single month because, and what started to happen was I was losing track of people. From the previous month, if they didn't join the next group, then they kind of fell into this veterans group that I didn't have time to post in because I had 10 billion groups that I was trying to keep up with. Like, I don't have time to pay attention to my old people, you're on your own. There wasn't really a whole lot of value in that group for them. It was just kind of my dumping ground, for lack of a better word, for old challengers, because I didn't want to lose track of them, but I didn't know how to continue to add value to them, right? Like after so many challenges, like, what do you want from me? So I had this veterans group, and then I had my new challenge group, and then I had my coach page, and then I was also running sneak peek groups every single month, or just at random times when I felt the need to, when I wanted to recruit coaches, I would, it's just so random. There was some kind of organization, I think, but I look back at those days and I go, oh my gosh, like I was just so, and the inviting, I was not only trying to keep up with 10,000 groups, but I was also trying to do 10,000 inviting posts a day, right? And then send out invites for the challenge group to actual people. But if they said no that month, then I had to put them on the list, and then I had to follow up with them the next month and try to invite them to that challenge. And sometimes they would be on the list for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just never was good timing. And I'm like, how do I get them in a group? And for 3.5 years, in all fairness, in 3.5 years, social media started to change too, because a lot of network marketing appeared on Facebook, and we see it everywhere. I mean, everybody on Facebook, everybody on Instagram is trying to sell something. And I'm added to, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm added to like 20 groups a month, like that I didn't ask to be a part of. And so what started happening for me, and again, this is just my business. What started happening for me is the value, what used to be a really awesome thing, I saw the value of Facebook groups kind of start to go down, because people, and I'm talking about the people who aren't selling anything on Facebook or aren't adding people to groups, they got sick of being added to groups, right? So like the value of, I was inviting to a Facebook group and Facebook group and Facebook group, community. And what started to happen was like people weren't getting excited about it anymore because they're added to makeup groups and they're added to LuLaRoe groups and they're added to wine groups and they're added to this group. Like people weren't checking in. So a challenge group just wasn't, it wasn't enough anymore. Like as far as what I had to offer to people. So it took me a couple months to kind of figure out a new way of doing things, right? I still needed to coach people. I didn't quite know how to do that outside of social media groups. So what I did is I tried to get smart, right? I was also at a point in my business where I was trying to simplify everything. I didn't want to keep up with 5 million groups. I didn't want, my team and I were running challenge groups together for a long time. And I got burnt out of that because I was micromanaging not just my challengers, but I was also micromanaging my coaches. And I was sending them, you got to post this on this day. And we, it was like a whole new set of a whole new need for organization that it was too much, right? Like it was easier just to run my own group rather than try to manage everybody. It was just, can you tell? Like, I don't even like talking about it. Like, I just got so stressed out, like freaking Facebook groups. Like, and then I started to get, I started to get burnt out of social media as a result. And because it was overwhelming. I was 1,000% overwhelmed. And so, I told my team on a call, I said, something is not working for me in my business. And I couldn't figure out what it was, but I need to fix this. I need to simplify my business. Like, this is overwhelming. I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed thinking that you have to do the same thing. I don't know how long I can keep this challenge group thing up, right? Just in my life in general, I felt like a slave. I felt like a slave to my business. And I didn't become a coach to be a slave to my work. I became a coach to make my own decisions about how I want to work. And I became a coach for freedom. And so that's how I started to think, if I have a problem in my business, if challenge groups are a sore spot for me, or social media in general is a sore spot for me, guess what? I'm the boss. Like, I get to do something about that. I didn't get to do anything about the amount of paperwork that was on my desk before, but now that this is a sore spot, I am in control. And so what I did is I started brainstorming. I started brainstorming on how to provide crazy value to my challengers that did not require me being present 24/7 and having 5 billion groups to keep up with. So what I did, also about this time, my husband and I went totally vegan. So there was like a whole new wrench in my business because now I wanted to incorporate that in my coaching, right? And in how I help challengers, because I love talking about nutrition and diet and plant-based food. So I was like, well, now I got to start running groups on how to be a vegan. Like, I don't know. Now, what do I do now? Right? So it was just this season of like, something has got to give here. Like, I got way too much going on. I don't know how to coach people anymore. I'm burnt out. So anyway, I decided that, and after talking with Lindsay, and Lindsay Stay had told me, I was expressing my, she was over one day, we were working on a project, and it was really what we were working on was streamlining our business and how can we streamline things for DFG, right? And in conversation, I told her I'm really, really exhausted of challenge groups, but I don't know what else to do for people. I don't know how else to help people. And she goes, you still run challenge groups? And I was like, what do you mean I still run challenge groups? I'm a Beachbody coach. Of course I run challenge groups. She goes, I did away with monthly challenge groups a long time ago. And I was like, well, thanks for passing on the message. I didn't know you didn't do challenge groups anymore. She goes, well, I have one going all the time now, and it's working great for her. And I was like, it was just this breakthrough for me. I was like, are you kidding me right now that you don't run a challenge group every month? And I don't know where you guys are at as a team, what you do, how you work your business, whether groups are even a sore spot for you, but it was a light bulb moment for me. And I said, well, how on earth do you help people? How on earth do you coach people? So I have one permanent group. I don't know necessarily if it's how long it's going to last. I don't really have an end in mind. And then wheels started to turn. She left that day, and I sat down, totally not doing what I was supposed to do after our meeting together, because we were trying to brainstorm on this project. And I was like, no, like I got to fix my own business first. And so the next couple weeks, I decided that I was going to put together an email series, right? And now you're probably thinking, oh, email, that's so impersonal. Okay, so what it is, it's a 6-day email workshop, and it's all through MailChimp. And that is my way of onboarding paid challengers. Now, I'm going to, all these systems and whatever that I share with you guys, I'm going to screenshot everything, take a picture of everything, copy, paste. I will give it all to Jessie to pass down to you. So if you're like, I need to see what this even looks like, I will give you all of my email templates. I am an open book. Like you can have it all and make it your own. Just know that you know, that's why I'm not sharing any visuals right now, because it takes too much time. I just want to tell you what I do. So for brand new challengers, I have a permanently open, I don't even call it a challenge group. I got completely away from that term. I do not use it anymore with people. I do not use it in my invites. I do not use it in my conversations with people. I don't use it in on my social media at all. I don't talk about challenge groups anymore. I refer to my group as a lifestyle community because, and this is important for me personally, fitness and health and nutrition, it is a lifestyle. That is, we all know that, we all preach that, right? But yet we all say, I'm not inviting, it's not a diet, it's not a diet, it's not a diet, it's a program. Well, it felt like a diet to me, and I think it felt like a diet to my challengers, because there was always an end in sight, right? There was always this end in sight. 21 days or 14 days or 30 days or 80 days, like however long you ran your challenges for, it felt like a diet, because I felt tremendous pressure that I need to get these people results in those 10 days or 21 days, or they're not going to stick around. They're not going to stay on their Shakeology. They're not going to continue to use Beachbody On Demand. And so for me, the sore spot for challenge groups was that there was always an end in sight, and that I always had to recreate a new group and bring in a new round of challengers, when I felt really terrible, like leaving these other people that were in the last challenge with me behind, because like I don't really know what to do with them after that except dump them into this other group. So I solved that problem for both me and my challengers, and I took what used to be my veterans group and I completely did a makeover on it. And this is where I say, this is not what every coach does. I'm not recommending it. You do what your leader suggests, but this is what has worked for me. It is a lifestyle community. I let anybody in, everybody and anybody, purchase or not, okay? Now let me preface this by saying, I like that I do that because people don't really place a whole lot of value on a Facebook group anymore. You don't have to pay to be in. I mean, it's a Facebook group. We're added to them all day long. But B, it allows me to give a little bit of value away for free and give people essentially a permanent sneak peek into challenge groups, but it's not a challenge group. And the only people I've found that even show up in this group or post all the time or share recipes, it's a very, I would say it's a very nutrition-focused group, way more than a workout group. I post my workouts, other people post their workouts, but it's much more of a nutrition group. The people who participate and the people who share are paid challengers. So really the only kind of value and the only kind of posting that that unpaid challengers are seeing anyway are people who are using Beachbody On Demand and drinking Shakeology. So for me, it's like, why would I hide that from anybody? Why would I not let you into that? Because those people are just affirming what I'm telling you on my social media, that Shakeology is awesome. These workouts are awesome. And that is your sneak peek into these products. I mean, I don't even have to do a whole lot of work, really, because they're hearing it from way more than just me. So what I do is I will show you, again, I will screenshot everything. I'll let you into the group. You're more than welcome to be a part of it. We've got over, I think, like 250 members now. I don't even remember what it is. But what I do now is I've got everything in one place. I have got old challengers. I've got new challengers. I've got prospects. I've got new coaches. I have everybody in one place. And then when I meet people at the grocery store, I met a girl in Publix the other day who's also, she's like brand new to being vegan, and she noticed all the stuff I was buying. She's like, do you eat meat? We just got to talking about it. And I said, yeah. She goes, yeah, I'm trying, like, I'm kind of learning how to make recipes. Well, what I was able to say to her was, oh my gosh, well, I have a lifestyle group on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? I would love to include you in that. People are always sharing recipes. I have tons of shopping lists on there. I've got grocery lists, recipes, you name it, on this lifestyle group. It's all free for the taking. It didn't cost me anything. Do you want me to add you to it? Oh my gosh, I would love that. Like, I really, really need help with that. Okay. And so I let her in. And what I have in there is I've got, we all know what a pin post is. I did a lengthy, I think, Jesse, you're in the group. I may have tagged you in that. I have a lengthy pin post that has anything you can imagine in it. Again, plant-based, there's a lot to it. I've got documentaries. I've got books that I'm reading. I've got cookbook recommendations. I've got a write-up on my story of Shakeology, a write-up on what I use for workouts, Beachbody On Demand. And then I've got a helpful links list in there. And this is all in the pin post, all of it. I have an image of me that's consistent with the brand that I built. The name of the group, Fitness, Faith, and Friendship, is consistent with the brand that I built. And in that pin post, any new member that comes in, paid or not, I tag their name and I say, I'm so thrilled to have you. Here's my list of favorite lifestyle recommendations. And again, that language is so important. Lifestyle. Here's a list of my favorite lifestyle recommendations and resources for you. They've really helped me along my journey, and I hope they will help you along yours. They'll always be right here for you to reference in the pin post. Please check out our files section. It has recipes. It's got shopping lists. It's got grocery lists. It's got you name it. It's got a ton of stuff in there. Oh my gosh, thank you, Michelle. But what I also include in that comment, so I'm tagging their name, they're in the group. I have questions that they are asked when they request to be in the group. There's questions that say, I don't know if you guys know of that feature on Facebook. You can ask questions before people are allowed to be in the group. One of the questions is, who invited you? Because I get requests all the time that didn't come from me. Somebody else in the group invited their friend. Who invited you? Oh, so-and-so. Okay, cool. It'll also helps me in asking those questions. It helps me know if another coach invited that person, because I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to try to sell them a challenge pack when they belong to my new coach. Like, that wouldn't make sense. So there's that question. Then another one is, what Beachbody tools are you interested in using to help you reach your goals? And then I think the third question is, what are your goals? Like, what would you hope to achieve in the next 21 days if we were to work one-on-one together? So it is that permanent sneak peek, right? Because the group is valuable. It's really valuable for people who aren't paid, but it's especially valuable for people who are, because there's that accountability. the sweaty selfies. There's the Shakeology selfies. But because it's coming from way more than just me, it's very meaningful to prospects in there. But then there's a lot of free value by way of just stuff. And again, please request to be in it. You can go to my one of my cover photos or my profile photo. You can request to be in the group. I will be happy to approve you, and I'll tag you in the pin post so you can see. But in that helpful links list, I have everything you could possibly imagine. I have the link to customer relations. I have the phone number to like whatever, Beachbody, customer relations phone number, customer relations links. I've got our lifestyle questionnaire, which is our WooFoo application. It's just how I get to know a challenger. I've got our coach application in there. I've got the link to change your Shakeology flavor. I mean, why not have all of those things in one place? That way, when people ask me questions like, hey, Michelle, how do I change my Shakeology flavor? I can go, oh, you know that, I tag their name in the pin post. Hey, girl, under the helpful links tab, you can find that. Hey, Michelle, I really want Beachbody On Demand, but I don't want to do Shakeology. Do you have, can you get me the link? Sure, I'll tag you in the post. I tag their name in the post. Hey, you can buy the Beachbody On Demand, the yearly access pass right through that link. I have links to purchase right in there. I mean, it takes all the work off of me for having to have all these conversations privately and answer all these questions when it's all right there. If someone is watching mine and my challengers' workout journeys long enough, they're going to want Beachbody On Demand, and they can. I get purchases that pop up in my back office all the time. People I never had conversations with, because not all the time. They're not necessarily challenge packs, but random Beachbody On Demand subscriptions or one-time Shakeology orders because they want to try it, or sampler packs or whatever, because it's all right there. And if they're interested enough, then they'll just purchase themselves. I do still have conversations. Yes, I do still make success a priority. Yes, but it eliminates all of the work, right? Having everything in one place, just like other businesses on Facebook do, by the way. You know, I'm part of makeup groups, and the links to purchase are right there. Why aren't we utilizing that? Like, why are we making so much work for ourselves? So simplify, simplify, simplify. That was step one for me, was to put absolutely everything, including all of my people, in one place. And that's the only thing I ever have to keep up with on Facebook now. I post at inspiration. I don't post in there every day. I don't really feel the need to post in there every day, to be honest with you, because I have just given a crap ton of value to people in this group, and other people are giving value to that group. So I want to kind of pause there though, because that is something, that Facebook group is something that I provide to everybody, paid or not. My paid challengers, so the minimum requirement is Shakeology, right? Typically, it is a challenge pack, but minimum requirement is Shakeology. For those people, I have a 6-day email workshop. And it literally takes them, what I basically did was I took what used to be my challenge group preseason, that week-long preseason. I don't know if you guys do that or a version of it. I took it and I put it into a fancy MailChimp email form. And it is I call it my getting started workshop. Day one is your why. What is your why for being here? And they respond to me privately via email what their why is. And so there's community and there's accountability, and there's a place to run challenges or have a community, a fitness community. There's all that stuff on Facebook. But then I've also brought into this element of my business, which I'm all about these days, and that's that one-on-one coaching. I mean, that is coaching, right? And it's fun because I feel like when people purchase a challenge pack from you, they want to work with you. I mean, realistically, they're probably not joining your challenge group because of all of these other people that they might meet and hear from. Like, they want to work with you as the coach. So I have given a public forum, you know, a place for them to share their journey, a place for all of us to share their journey, but I've also provided that one-on-one safe place for them. And it is through MailChimp. I start them on every Monday. So say I have a new challenger who signs up on Friday, I will schedule all 6 emails to send starting on Monday, and then the second one goes on Tuesday, and second one or third one goes on Wednesday. And I schedule them all ahead of time. In MailChimp, I can schedule all of the emails to go out on their designated day for the whole week in about 2 minutes. And so when I have a new challenger, I go in, I schedule all their posts, and about midweek, I'll check in with them and say, hey, have you been participating in the workshop? And I have an assignment every single day in the workshop. Most of them are interactions one-on-one, but a couple of the assignments require that those people go back into the group and post. Okay, they do an introduction, or they tell people what program that they're going to work through first, or, you know, I prep. It's all prep. A lot of it's nutrition. A lot of it is, you know, hang your calendar up, your Beachbody workout calendar, get ready to crush your workout. Let's pick a program. A lot of it is Shakeology education, because obviously we want Shakeology sustainability in our business. We don't want people to just drink it for a month. We want them to drink it like forever, like we are. And that takes people being informed on Shakeology. And so I think I have 1 or 2 days, whole days, that are devoted to Shakeology education. Like, what exactly are you going to be drinking for the next month? So I've got everything: workout prep, you know, picking a program, your why, your what Shakeology is, and then I've got like 2 or 3 days of incorporating more plant-based foods into your diet and how to get started with that, because that's just what I'm passionate about. I will share every single. I'll share all those templates with you. You'll be able to see exactly what I send to people, and you'll have the template in case you want to go into MailChimp and make it your own. Put your own wording to it, or put your own images with it. But that's what I mean by simplification. So what do I invite to now? I invite to my group. I mean, occasionally it kind of takes the pressure off me of having to post about Beachbody every day, because, you know, I'll put a workout post up and I'll say, I'm really, you know, some really fun things are going on in our lifestyle community. It's free to all. It's open to all. The link to join us is in the comments if you're interested in learning more about plant-based life, or if you're interested in having a workout community, if you're interested in learning more about Shakeology or getting free recipes, just request to join. I do one of those posts, you know, I do them like maybe once a week, and I get 10 to 12 requests to join just from that one post. And they're not joining a challenge group necessarily. They are joining my community. And what do I do in my power hours? I get with those people. I have conversations with them. I go through the list of members and I think to myself, who is not on board with the challenge pack yet? And I start conversations, or I follow up. Like, it kind of becomes, that's my go-to place now for my power hour. It's like all things in one. I can't stress to you how freeing it has been to just have everything in one place. If I'm out and I'm like, you know, I could work on my business for a couple minutes, I'm not doing anything right now, or I'm waiting for my coffee, I'll go into my group, and I'll pick some people out that I haven't talked to in a while. Or, hey, have you been follow up with people? I'll post in there. It's where I showcase not just my workout journey, but my nutrition journey, my faith journey. That's another thing I'm passionate about, paying forward to people. It's all things in one. I post at inspiration just like everybody else does. However, I say all this to say, it is also your safe place for recognition, recognizing challengers, recognizing coaches. You can freely talk about the business in there. I do have a totally separate group that is ongoing as well. I have basically 2 groups: my lifestyle community, which is all things fitness and Beachbody. And I have another group, and that is my permanently open coach sneak peek. It's always there. I have a I'll share that link with you guys too. You can be in it. I talk about nothing but the vital behaviors in there. I hashtag the vital behaviors. I showcase my coach life in those groups, and or in that group. I have the link to coach compensation plan. I have the link to coach statement of earnings. I have a link to our coach application. That is all things coaching. So I've got all things fitness and all things coaching. 2 separate groups. They never end. There's absolutely no end to them. They're always open, and they both serve as sneak peeks and conversation starters and my place to share everything. I put it all out on the table. Why not share the statement of earnings with people? Why? I mean, why not? Why not share the coach compensation plan? Why not have it available to them? So those 2 groups, having everything in those 2 groups at all times, and I could go into more about the coach sneak peek, but I don't want to waste y'all's time. I know it's probably getting late. You are welcome in that. I need to be better about posting in that. I've been so focused on school these last few weeks, but that's my safe place. And it takes the pressure off me to like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted in my group yet, or I haven't put up the preseason post, or I haven't put up that recipe, or haven't done this. I live my life in those groups just as like I want my challengers to live their lives in those groups. And I don't want there to be an end for them, because this is a lifestyle that I'm inviting them to. One last really cool thing. So I've got the email workshop that's for paid challengers only. I do not give that away because it's important. It's important to have something else of value to add to people who have paid for your coaching, right? So in my lifestyle community, I'll talk about the email workshop. I'll say things, or I'll put invites up in the lifestyle group saying, hey, my next round of committed challengers, they're going to be starting their Getting Started workshop on Monday. Would love for y'all to join us. Here's the link to purchase your annual Beachbody On Demand challenge pack. And I can't wait to work with those people one-on-one. So I kind of sell myself in my lifestyle group with that one-on-one component of my business. Does that make sense? So the group's open to everybody, but I sell myself in it by saying I have mad value to add to you if you actually invest in these workouts and the nutrition. It's my safe place to talk about all things Shakeology, because we know that our wall is not necessarily the place to vomit, that kind of thing. And people don't really care about it anyway when they're scrolling Facebook. So create those safe places for you. If it's a permanent sneak peek, if it's a permanent challenge group, I don't call it that, lifestyle group. I cannot tell you how freeing it has been for my business. I do not feel glued to my social media anymore. I don't feel a slave to my business anymore. I know I feel like I'm adding serious value to people's lives. I feel like I'm actually coaching for the first time. And I know that sounds crazy, because I know that that's not how everybody feels running challenge groups, but that's how I felt. It was so just redundant every month that I got bored. And I was constantly having to reinvent my challenge group, which was a ton of work and exhausting. Now I don't have to do that. I want people in on this journey with me for life. I never want them to stop drinking their Shakeology. And I have seen that since doing that, my Shakeology sustainability has been awesome compared to years before. When my challenge group would end, people would put an end to their Shakeology. Now there's really no end in sight. Like, why would you stop drinking it? Why would you stop living a healthy lifestyle? So creating those safe places for you to share all things Beachbody is really, really important. Definitely a recommendation. Have the WooFoo applications that people can access. That takes a lot of conversation off the table. Needing to have all of those conversations about coaching and challenge packs, it eliminates a lot of that work by having a place for people to just write it themselves. When people say that they're interested in working with me one-on-one, I immediately give them the challenger application. Great. I cannot wait to see your application. I would love, I can't wait to get to know more about where you're at right now. And I even put the link to that challenger application or lifestyle questionnaire is what I call it, in the comment. When I tag their name in the pinned post, when they come to the group for the first time and I tag their name in that pinned post, I also put a link to the challenger application or the lifestyle questionnaire, and I say, hey, do you mind filling this out too, so that I can get to know you more one-on-one? And 9 times out of 10, they fill it out. And that becomes my power hour. I respond to applications. Like, how fun is that? Instead of trying to chase people down on Facebook, people have come to you because you provided mad value by opening up this free group where there's all this crazy awesome stuff. And now they're sending you their, yeah, amen. I love it. I can't tell you how fun it's been. It's brought the joy back into coaching for me. It has simplified everything. I am not a slave to my business, and it really has freed me up to be present in my life and not feel so much pressure to just be on all the time, you know? People are coming to me now because I put in that work to provide value, and I also still have value to add to them after that through that email workshop. It's super simple. Sometimes people don't take advantage of the workshop at all. I send it to them and I never hear from them, but none of my challengers can say that I didn't do my job. And I like being able, that feels good to me, right? Whether or not they take advantage of my coaching, they can't say that I wasn't there for them. Because I created this awesome community for them, but I also got them started in the best way that I know how, whether or not they took advantage of it. I did my job as a coach, and that's what I feel really, really good about. Last thing, I swear, so sorry if it's getting late. Please know if you enjoy running challenge groups, okay, because I do still enjoy running challenges. You can do that in the lifestyle community. Like, you don't always have to recreate groups. And that's what I love about the lifestyle community. If I want to invite to a 5-day or a Sean week, for an example, if I wanted to run a free group and do a free challenge and invite people to a free challenge, I can run the challenge within my lifestyle community. I simply change the cover photo to a picture of Sean T and like a little point system, and I'll do a free group within the lifestyle group, and I'll invite people out outside of the group into that. Does that make sense? So I still invite to things like free groups, but I just run them in the lifestyle community instead. That does amazing things for everybody. It does awesome things for prospects that are already in there, because they're like, okay, well, I have been watching for a couple months. Maybe I should get the free trial and do this Sean week with everybody and compete for this cute workout tank that Michelle's giving away. You know, you can theme it whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be a fitness free group. If you just want to start inviting people to your lifestyle community, it can be a fall decor group, like whatever. But change the cover photo, do a little giveaway, but make it short and sweet, 5-day group, 7-day group, and run it right in your lifestyle group. It's great for prospects. It's great for old challengers who need to, you know, maybe they need to push the reset button and just kind of get involved with something again. It's great for new prospects that come into the group because they want to do this free challenge. If you run Facebook ads, run a free group ad, but bring people to your lifestyle group. Don't recreate a new group for it. You're going to that's where you want people to end up anyway, right? So just bring them there in the first place. That's where your story has already been shared a million times. That's where all of your challengers are posting about their workouts and their Shakeology already. Like, work smarter. We don't have to work harder, right? We just got to work smarter. And having all of those things in place frees your time up to, instead of keeping up with exhausting social media and groups, it just frees you up to just talk to people and have relationships and cultivate relationships within your groups about coaching or about getting healthy. Okay, wow.
Amazing. It was amazing.
That was so long.
No, okay, can everyone, like, if anyone got value out of that, can you, like, raise your hand or jump up and down or, like, wave your hands in the air? Yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh, y'all are so sweet. I hope so.
Seriously though, like I love that idea. I do, and I'm not gonna tell them not to do that because I'm gonna be doing it. So yeah, I know we have a few questions. Someone said, how long did it take you to form the group and having people join? Like,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so instantly. So like I said, it was already my veterans group. So I already had probably, I would say like 70, 75 people in it already. And I was just I went live in there and I said, I'm totally revamping this group and giving it a new spin, and I changed everything. So I let people that were already in there know. I already had people in there. However, again, it was about the same time that my husband and I went like fully vegan, and so many people had questions anyway. And I was like, oh, I created this group that explains everything and shares our why and recipes and all that. So you can just come right in. So instantly people were adding themselves. And it also became the thing that I talked about. Rather than inviting to challenge groups, I just invited to that instead. And people are thinking, you know, I think what people like about it is that it's free. Like there's no purchase necessary. It's what do I have to lose? And so people added themselves like crazy. I've had the group up for a few months now, and we're over 250 already. I think. I haven't even looked, honestly. I could care less. There's so many awesome people in there. And you know, when people, having that pin post is everything. When you tag people's name, like when people request to join, you tag their name in there. That's also kind of your record of people to talk to as well. You know what I mean? Like during my power hour, I sit down and I just go follow up with all those people that I've already tagged. So it's kind of a way of organization too.
so what would you say to somebody who maybe doesn't have any challengers or maybe has like 5? Should they, like, if they're currently running a group or have never ran a group before, would you just say to start this page, free group type of deal, and just start talking about it and just start inviting people, whether you have 1 challenger, 0 challengers, 100 challengers?
I mean, I say, why not? I wish I had started this 3 years ago. I think my business would be so much further along. But you can invite to, you know, instead of inviting to a challenge group, invite to your group where you're going to be hosting challenges. So you can still invite to a challenge, you know, invite to a free Sean Week group and run a Sean Week group in your lifestyle group. And sign people up with a free trial and let them try it out and share your journey in there, and then convert them to challengers right in the group. I mean, there's really I say that there's no, like, why wait? I mean, at least get the group, at least create it. If it's what you're going to do, create the group and start writing your pin post in there, right? Like start getting together that kind of stuff. Even if you just add like when I used to create challenge groups all the time, like new groups, I just added my husband. That way I could start the group and I could do what I needed to in there and get it all ready for people. And then I started adding people. So even if you have a group running right now, a challenge group, maybe when the challenge is done, just turn that group into your lifestyle group and explain to the people in there, hey, I don't know about you, but I really don't want this to end. Like, I think we should just keep this open for a while, and maybe word it like that, and then just start, you know, adding those files that you want in there. And again, I will add you to the group. I am an open book. There's quite a few coaches in there that just wanted to see what was, you know, going on and how I did it. So y'all are welcome in. Just go to my page and request to join. And I see. No, co-ed. It's all co-ed.
You and your husband do a lot together, though, right? Like,
huh?
I said, you and your husband do it all together, right?
Yeah, he has no concept of even how to work social media, but he posts like his workouts and stuff all the time. But he posts in the group. Don't judge the group right now. I have been so focused on school and painting this stupid house for the last few weeks that we haven't even worked out in like days. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
But that's what I love, because I actually just went to look at it because I'm in the group.
Okay.
And I just went to look through it, and Michelle hasn't posted in like, I didn't go through to find her post, but like I just noticed, okay, she hasn't really posted, but other people have, right? Yeah. And if you're in I have a grad group, a veteran group, whatever you call it. It's the same thing for me. I have people posting in there that I don't necessarily post in there every single day. I sometimes forget because I have 20 freaking groups open. So, I think that if you build it, and it's going to take a little bit of time for people to, I'm not saying create a group and never post in it, but it's going to take some time for if you have challengers that get used to posting in there, right? Or if you don't have challengers right away, or you don't have a ton, right? You might not have a ton of people posting in there right away. So you have to be that one. Like she said, she's added a ton of value in there, y'all. She didn't just open up this group and like never post, and all of a sudden all these people are posting, right? So just know, like if you're going to create this group and you're adding people in, or people are adding themselves in, you have to add value there in order for you to get anything out of it. You can't just open it and expect all these floodgates to come in and all these people want to join your challenge, or, be a part of Be Trying on Demand or whatever it might be. But that's the whole point of this, is adding value. Because she's added so much value, people are just posting recipes and their study selfies and doing it on their own, to where she's not having to check in every single day. She's not having to, do daily assignments. And I love my challenge groups. I think our challenge groups run great, but I noticed, especially now with the holidays, like it's stagnant. People are not on Facebook all the time. They're not checking in every day. They're tired of being sales, getting hit with sales. I had like 4 people message me today asking me if I wanted to be in some random free group that they sell their products in. And I've never spoken to these people in my life. And I'm like, no, I don't even know you. So make sure, if you're going to do this, that you go back and listen to this call, because it's recorded, and you take heavy notes, and you ask to be in Michelle's group, and don't go copy and paste everything in there. Make it your own. If you're not vegan, you don't have to be vegan to make this a successful group. Okay? You can talk about whatever floats your boat. Like if you're a teacher, and we have some teachers on here, if you're a teacher and you want to do like a teacher, like kind of speak, not that you have to limit yourself to teachers, but like, talk about that kind of stuff. Talk about what you're passionate about. If you do massage, talk about that. Like whatever your little heart desires, talk about it. If you're a mom, talk about mom stuff. I don't know. I'm not a mom, so I don't know what moms like deal with on a daily basis. But like your kid poops in the toilet, in the bathtub, talk about it.
Right.
Someone on here, child pooped in the bathtub. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But seriously, like that's the kind of stuff, and it makes it fun again. So thank you, seriously, Michelle. Does anyone else have questions? Because I'm like going on I'm just excited now. Now I want to go, and I want to stay up all night and create.
It's so funny. I'm telling you, it was. It has changed everything, and I think, when I onboard new coaches now too, it's like, it's just so simple for me to pass down. I have a new coach call once a month, and I say, okay, create a lifestyle group and create a permanent coach sneak peek group and have a ball. Like it's
duplicatable. It's easy to duplicate.
Yeah, it's so duplicatable. That's what I love about it. And most of the time, they've already, new coaches have participated in one or the other or both of mine already. So they're all already very familiar with what I'm talking about. Like, it's just, and it takes that pressure off of having to be, I think people in general, and this all stemmed from my own frustrations with social media. Okay. Just because you are a Beachbody coach does not mean you have to like, be obsessed and love social media. Like I'm not obsessed with social media, and I got burnt out of it. And so I had to fix that problem. For me, it was like either fix the problems in my business or walk away from my business. And the walking away is just never an option. It's never going to be an option. So I had to just fix what was wrong. But in doing that, it ended up fixing like every single sore spot in my business, and I didn't even realize it. So now I'm like just passionate about sharing it forward, because it's just, we got in this business to be free, right? Like not to be bogged down. So
yeah, I love that. Anyone have any questions for Michelle before we hop off here? I want to make sure everyone's question. Don't be shy, y'all. Ask your question.
no, I'm so honored to be on here.
I'm getting messages from I like just looked at, I got like 4 messages saying like, I understand, this is how I feel. I've seriously been feeling like that all week. I'm so grateful that you put her on this call. So a lot of people are definitely getting a lot out of this. So thank you so seriously so much. See, you said
so
I don't know what value I'm gonna add to your
what?
I was like, and you're like, I don't know what value I'm gonna add to your people.
Well, you know, when you asked me to be on to do a call, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I haven't. I just feel like I've been so focused on school, and I haven't, you know. But at the same time, the beauty of owning your own business is, you know, if you want to take a vacation, you can do that. You know, and I have for probably a week or so, and I'm not stressed out about it, and I'm not worried about it, because I've created a sustainable business, and I can jump back into anytime I want. And I still post in my group, because health is a lifestyle. You know, I cooked a vegan dinner for some friends the other day, and I shared it in the group, and I just shared the recipe to it. And that was something that I naturally did, and then I just naturally shared about. And that's what feels really, really good. You know, like before I just felt like I had to constantly be on and be present and have something to share and something to add. And like, that's not really natural. That wasn't natural. If I work out, I share about it. If I don't, I don't. And that's life. Like, that's real life. That's a real challenger's life. And that's going to be a real coach's life, the people that you're inviting into your business. So, yeah. Anyway, awesome. I'm so honored that you asked me. Thank you all so much. I'm so sorry it's so late, but I will share everything. And if you'd like to be in the group, I'll share the link to that too. You're more than welcome.
I'll post like once she sends me everything, y'all give her a few days in school. But once she sends me everything, I will for sure put it in the team page. And if y'all have any more questions for her, just send me a message, ask me, and I will pass it on. I know obviously we don't want to like blow up her inbox every 5 seconds.
Oh, don't worry about it. Ask away.
All right, let's take a picture really quick. I looked
Yay! Okay.
Freaking mess, and we had some people jump off, but that's okay. We'll still take a cute little picture. So Ashley fixed her hair. I gotta make sure. All right, and my cousin Ashley down here, the one with the purple hair, always like has to look beautiful, and I look like this all the time.
I need me some purple hair.
I don't know. I kind of want to do that too. All right, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's cute. All right. Well, thank you so much. Seriously.
Thank you. You guys are so awesome. I look up to y'all so much. Your team is rocking it. So keep it up. Seriously. Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.